Hello folks, this is Serge Goueff, also known as Mr. Smith in the world of jazz, and this is part 2 of the masterclass on the tune Sweet Georgia Brown. In part 1, we learn how to play the melody in its simplest form and to perform it at a lively pace of about 180 beats per minute memorized. If you have achieved that, then welcome to part 2. Part 2 is going to focus on what we call rhythmic variation, on the melody. You see, when you perform jazz is a creative endeavor. You are expected to be creative. It's not like a classical player who is given a sonata or a concerto, practices it to death, and then performs it in front of an audience. That's the art of a concertist. A jazzman is expected to be given a framework, a melody, but he's not expected to perform it as written. He's expected to modify it and make it his own. You play the melody as you intend to do so. Now, how do you do that? The very first form of variation you can bring to a melody without encumbering your mind with having to change note or knowing the harmony that outlines the melody is simply rhythm. One of the great players, one of the great jazz players was Louis Armstrong. He was a master at that. So I recommend you listen to him a lot. You'll see how he modifies the melody without having to change notes. He just changed the rhythm. So how would we do it with Sweet Georgia Brown? So what I've done is I have rewritten the very simple tune we had in part 1, and I have just simply modified in very, very simple ways the melody. And you will see, it already sounds a little bit different. Now, this is written. I have written it for you to help you out, to give you something to follow, some kind of guide. But the idea is for you to do it by yourself. You may decide, okay, every time I have a minim, I am going to transform it into crotchets. That's a rhythmic variation. I know, it's a simple one, but that's how you start. You may say, okay, each time I've got a minim, it will now become a dotted crotchet followed by a quaver, a little bit more advanced. And as you go, you mix that and it becomes really interesting. The variations are rhythmically infinite. We are not going to modify the notes, only the rhythm on this one. So the first version will be at 120 beats per minute. And let's dive right into it. Sweet Georgia Brown, step 2. Rhythmic variation, the tempo is 120 beats per minute. That was 120 beats per minute.
And now it is your turn to play Sweet Georgia Brown rhythmic variation at 120 beats per minute. And now let's hear it at 150 beats per minute. Sweet Georgia Brown, Rhythmic Variations. And now it is your turn to shine. Sweet Georgia Brown, Rhythmic Variations at 150 beats per minute.
And let's tackle it at 180 now.
And this is where the fun begins. Ready? 180 beats per minute, it's your turn. Sweet Georgia Brown, Rhythmic Variations.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? And that is rhythmic variation. Now, I'm not going to ask you to memorize that. I'm going to ask you to practice bringing your own rhythmic variation on the melody. So perhaps print the simplest form of the melody, have it in front of you, and see how you can plan to change some of the established rhythm. Practice at very slow speed first. Have fun. See you until the next video. If you like that video, the next video will be focusing on melodic variation, not rhythmic variation. We've just covered that on step 2. So step 3 will be melodic variation on the melody. I hope to see you there. If you like the video, give me the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and spread the word. And if you like jazz, go on my Bandcamp page and perhaps listen to my music. Until next time, I'll see you on step 3.